The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored by HotMovies.com. Try out some ethical paid-for porn for free with none of those hidden fees or secret recurring subscriptions when you sign up at HotMovies.com/bonus and use the promo code MANWHORE. Most of us penis havers have apologized to a partner at one time or another because we couldn't get or maintain an erection. Personally, when that happens to me, it's just because I'm a little nervous. And I've always said on this show that that's okay. You don't need a boner to have a good time, but sometimes we want to have a good time with a boner. And that's where Blue Chew comes in to give me that peace of mind knowing I can count on providing the hard-on I really want to provide. Providing a hard-on is a nice way of saying, I want to do some dick diving tonight. Come on. And for you older cats, hey, sometimes you just need a little extra help to give your partner an extra passionate night. Take Blue Chew anytime, even on a full stomach. And because they're chewable, they work twice as fast as a certain little blue pill out there, and certainly cheaper than getting something at the pharmacy. Right now, Blue Chew has a special deal for our listeners. Get your first shipment free. What? A whole shipment for free? I don't understand the economics of this. Yes, your first shipment is free when you use special promo code MANWHORE at BlueChew.com. All you do is pay $5 for shipping. Again, that's Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, promo code MANWHORE. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the Man Whore Podcast. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
He's making a list. I'm checking it twice. Gonna find out who's naughty or a Patreon member and therefore naughty and nice. The Man Whore Podcast is coming to town. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast. If you're unfamiliar with this show, this is a show where I typically talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. This week, I've got on fellow comedian and former flame, Rebecca Rush, who I can't wait to share with y'all in a bit. But first, no show dates, people. No show dates to promote right now. However, there are just 7 days left to take advantage of this limited time special offer I'm running on Patreon. On December 19th, I'm going to be mailing out a bunch of limited edition hand-drawn stickers done by none other than Rosa S. Candone, friend of the show, right? Yeah, if you want to get those stickers, you got to be a member by December 19th. I won't be selling these stickers. They're not going to come out another time. They're very specific to right now. It's the only time you can get them. Well, Billy, I mean, come on. What kind of sticker are we talking about here? Fair question. It's of my design. Sarah's drawn it, but it's well, let's just say I don't want to give it away. I want it to be more of a surprise when it shows up at your door, but let's just say step 1, cut a hole in the box. And a little happy holiday cheer from me and the Man Whore Podcast. So again, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. If you pledge $2 or more by December 19th, you'll get a very special sticker. It's kind of my way of just, giving back to all the fan whores who have given so much to me over the last several years. So I want, thank you to all my members. Shout out to y'all. You literally pay my rent. And that's a really cool, special thing as a comic, as a podcaster, as someone who's not famous, to be able to say that I do. So thank you all very much. If you are interested in hearing me be funny elsewhere, though, I was recently on an episode of the Social Villains podcast. We talked a lot about Kevin Hart and the whole homophobic tweet stuff. And it kind of, devolved into a lot of conversations about that stuff, like representation and what's offensive and comedy. And of course, it's 3 straight white guys having the conversation. But I didn't control that. I don't book the show. I just show up. But yeah, go check out the Social Villains podcast. I should be the most recent episode. if you're listening to this on the day it comes out. Emails, people, your emails. That's one of my favorite things to see when I wake up in the morning is an email from one of my wonderful listeners. And honestly, even from some of my less wonderful listeners, I'm still usually pretty happy to see the email. I love taking my time to write those out and think them through. This first one comes from Sarah. Sarah writes, "Hi, Billy. I'm so happy I found your podcast. The Manwhore podcast is a goldmine of information." Is this an iTunes review? Is this an email? Okay. I've had so many thoughts of things I've wanted to say in regards to each episode that I've listened to, but this email would go on forever. I find you so relatable in so many ways, even though we have different lifestyles. I am married with a toddler, but I do envy your sex life. I think back to an ex-boyfriend that I had for a long time and why things never worked out, and I think it's because we needed a more open and explorative relationship. We definitely would have thrived in the open sex scene. I am married to a very nice guy, but we haven't had sex since I got pregnant, which was 3 years ago. It was mostly for psychological reasons, I think. My husband was weirded out by the intimacy while pregnant thing, and I think that just burned my ass a little. So now I'm totally closed off. I've had so many more things I wanted to say, but I clearly need to collect my thoughts because I don't know where I was going with that piece of information. I appreciate your openness and you publicly oversharing. I have no filter. I have no shame. And I love every sliver of she wrote silver. I think she meant sliver. Every sliver of wisdom that comes out of your mouth. You are a beautiful, bangable man, and one can only be so lucky to be part of the Billy harem. Sarah from up north. Oh, wow. Well, one, there's no harem. It's not, I think a lot of people think I fuck more than I do. I don't, probably. In fact, actually, the last couple of months, my libido has actually been way more tanked than usual. It is funny that I think people think I fuck more than I do, and then there's the assumptions there's a harem. It's like, well, yeah, there's people in my life I can call if I want to have some sex or, share a sexual space, if you will. But it's certainly not like a thriving, active harem. It's not, or maybe it's not as exclusive. I don't know. Thank you. I think I'm supposed to say thank you. That's nice, and I'm sorry to hear that your husband hasn't been fucking you. So there we go. This other email, a little bit more involved. This one comes from Shauna. She writes, "Billy, I just wanted to reach out and get some thoughts from you or any of your listeners who may have some advice. A little backstory on my situation. About a year and a half ago, my husband and I decided to try meeting someone else that we could bring into the equation on a casual basis to have some fun and enact some of my husband's biggest fantasies, which was to see me with another man. We did it. We enjoyed, and we have continued on. Through the year and a half, I've gone through a few different guys, mainly because they have drifted away. It's getting to the point now where the hunt is exhausting to me, and I really just want to meet someone who will stick around. I am very upfront with these men on what I am interested in. I want a friends with benefits who I can have fun with but still maintain a level of friendship, as comfort is extremely important to me in all of this. I am also not interested in multiple friends with benefits. I want him to enjoy being with me, with or without my husband around, and I just want to have hot, fun sex. Can I be honest? Some hot, fun sex. I really am an easygoing girl. I do not come with any baggage, and there's no secrets between me and my husband. We are completely open and honest with each other. I also have great tits and suck a mean cock. Any advice on how I can make this process easier? Am I looking in the wrong places? Am I looking for the wrong thing? Am I not communicating enough? So, okay. I also like her own little self-endorsement about her cocksucking skills at the end. Just kind of slipped it in there just like an afterthought. But, Jesus, well, Shauna, this is what I was thinking about. It's like you're in this awesome openness relationship where you fuck other guys and your husband is super into it. And that's awesome and great and hot and beautiful. But these fellas, you're saying, don't stick around as long as you'd like. I hate to tell you, but when it comes to casual sexual relationships, that's going to be par for the course. I've had a lot of casual sex partners. I think we all know this by now. It's why a lot of you are here. And not many of them stick around for that long. Some wax and wane, some coming in and out of my DMs. A lot of them tend to last, a few weeks, a few months. But none stick around as casual, consistent sex friends. They move, they get bored when the friendship plateaus. They're not interested in being super chatty because they're feeling blue. Their dating priorities change. Or, and this one's very common, they meet someone who fulfills them in more than a sexual way. That's kind of the nature of a casual sexual relationship. And that's okay. I don't think you're doing anything wrong from what you're telling me. Guys are going to come in and out of your life and in and out of you, hey, until they no longer want to. Or until you no longer want them to. There are a plethora of reasons why someone doesn't want to fuck you anymore, and it may have zero to do with your wonderful tits or expert dick-sucking skills. Sometimes people are just over it. I have sexual partners I was super eager to see and fuck and make out with and go out for drinks, and then I wasn't. I've had a ton of women who stopped sleeping with me because they met a new person and wanted to be monogamous with them. These things just kind of run their course. It's just kind of gonna happen. I'm also, like 12 years old, so I don't know. Take everything you hear from me with a grain of salt. I don't know how life works. Jeez, I only recently discovered I was using the wrong side of my glass dildo for years, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Also, and this I think is really important to remember, is that someone not being interested in fucking you anymore right now does not mean they're never going to want to fuck you again. Someone also may not want to fuck you that night. I mean, haven't we all kind of been in a, sometimes you're in a Johnny fucking mood and other times not. Sometimes you're like, I'm way more in a David fucking mood than a Johnny fucking mood tonight. Doesn't mean you don't want to fuck Johnny anymore. Just means you don't really want to fuck him that week. And sometimes people enter things and then become available and pop back into your life. You never really know. And if you respond poorly to someone breaking it off, then yeah, that'll probably put the kibosh on things. I mean, most commonly, especially today, when someone's not interested in something casual anymore, ghosting tends to be the move. People don't usually call and say hey, that casual sexual relationship we were having, don't really want to do it anymore. They just usually stop calling or stop texting. But sometimes it is a conversation, and I've been on both sides of that. I would tell you to go check out my Instagram highlight story, but my Instagram is temporarily disabled, so I can't visually show you this example. But I once had a fuck buddy, this was this year. I had a fuck buddy who texted me, yeah, I think this has run its course. Okay, cool. I told her, okay, that's fine. I told her she's welcome to hit me up if she changes her mind or gets horny, and I told her to take care. And by the way, that was a super short text message, I should say. It was a short message, not this big, long behemoth about how great she is and how I respect her journey and all that bullshit. It's just a simple, okay, no big deal. Take care. Hit me up. And you know what? She did hit me up. A month later, she hit me up. She was like, want to fuck? And I'm like, great. If I hadn't handled the break off well originally, we wouldn't be fucking again. She wouldn't hit me up. She'd be like, wow, that dude was kind of fucking crazy. He was all super sensitive about me not wanting to, suck his dick anymore. No, she remembered it was a fine, mature breaking off, and then maturely got back, to fucking some more. Currently I haven't seen her in a couple months, and we might fuck again. Who knows? That's kind of the nature of these casual sexual relationships you're looking for. Emphasis on casual. If you want more consistency, you may want to consider polyamory as an option. That would allow you to offer more than just sex and friendship, but also romance and love and commitment, consistency. Now, of course, there are people who have had the same fuck friends for a decade. Mazel. There are people who are still close with their entire middle school friendship circle. My sister's one of these people. Have you met them? I just went to her engagement party, and there were people there I hadn't seen in 13, 14 years. That she still talks to them all the time. I think that's freakish and rare. And so are those consistent, down the laugh, platonic fuck buddies who stick around for years. More often than not, according to my unofficial study that I have never conducted, these things will peter out and you'll be back on the hunt again. You're out on the hunt for some hot casual sex. Yippee. But if you're not offering more than sex as the bait, if that's all you're offering, you'll likely always be on the prowl. Until, of course, you hunt down that rare stallion who will fondle those titties until one of you dies. I wish I could tell you something different, but, what you want isn't really how it works. What you want is the outlier, not the norm. And again, it's because you're only offering this. There's a limitation you're setting up front, which is fine and noble because you're probably trying to remain within the bounds of your relationship. But you have to understand, you're limiting what you're offering, so that limits what you can get. There you go. And you too can send me your comments, your questions, your boobs, your penis, if my name is written on it with an actual Sharpie, not photoshopped. You can send any of that, honestly, to manhorrorpod@gmail.com. And yes, people will be like, oh my God, I can't believe you answered. I answer. I've got a lot of time. Say hello. All right, everybody. As always, you know that I am so proud and so happy to be sponsored by HotMovies.com. HotMovies.com is a pay-per-minute porn website that honestly, I feel like that is the future of paying for your porn. No more having to manage a bunch of different subscriptions. No, you could just have one website where you buy minutes and they have what seems like all the porn. They have a lot. It's absurd. Just the amount of subcategories they have, you know what I mean, is insane. And HotMovies.com right now is actually giving away a lot of free minutes and free movies and free scenes because they're doing an advent calendar, which I'm personally a fan of. I love a good advent calendar. And if you just log on to Hot Movies every day, I click the new box. Sometimes I get a movie. Sometimes I get free minutes. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do right before I start beating my meat to some ethical paid for porn. And you too can be a part of that movement. You go to hotmovies.com/bonus, use the promo code MANWHORE, and you get 20 extra minutes on top of any package you sign up for. Feeling a little weary? That's understandable. Guess what? You can do a free trial of Hot Movies. And, here's the thing. When you sign up for their free trial, it's 20 minutes. I like to jerk it for at least 40. Personally, that's my preference. I like a nice, long stroke, deny myself a bit, and then I just cum buckets, right? So you can get a 40-minute free trial when you use promo code MANWHORE when you sign up at hotmovies.com. Have I said enough times? You go to hotmovies.com/bonus, promo code MANWHORE. It's a great way. Like I said, it's not just an ethical way to watch your porn, but an affordable way to pay for, let's be honest, just some of your porn. So, all right, before I get to my guest this week, Rebecca Rush, is time for the fan horror appreciation moment. Okay, this is the part of the podcast where I like to give a shout out to some of the awesome, wonderful members of my fan horror community on Patreon. I want to give a shout out right now to Melody Cutbirth. You promised me you promised me a photo in your last email. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that photo. You don't know what the photo is. It could be of Krispy Kremes. You don't know what I'm into. Don't judge me. Don't assume. You filthy people. Shout out to Josh Myers. Thank you for your longtime support, and thanks for coming out to the live show in Los Angeles. It was wonderful meeting you there. I always love it when I get to meet y'all face to face and have some fun conversations. And shout out to Shelby N. You were gone too soon. You were patron for a good week, and it was a fun week while you were there. But hey, we're still having fun in the Peep Show, and the fun will be happening whenever you decide to return. And you too can become a member for as little as $1 per month. Although right now we're running that special offer, $2, you get that special sticker, that hashtag Rosa is hot sticker. Maybe that should have been the sticker, just hashtag Rosa is hot. Maybe that's a better sticker. I don't know. Email me, tell me. It's not too late for me to change my mind. Go to Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. It's a great way to support the show and get a whole bunch of bonus content. And now for this week's guest, Rebecca Rush. Rebecca, she's interesting. She's an odd bird. I feel like she'd do great in the 60s. Rebecca is a comic who we hooked up. If I sound weird about it, it's because I feel like we all feel weird about this one. We hooked up, and the entire she does a lot of stand up about being sober or being an alcoholic or going for sobriety. And so we were at some open mic, and then I had a drink, and then she had a drink. And in my head, I'm like, aren't you sober? But, I'm like, whatever, live your life. And out of nowhere, it just started to feel like she was hitting on me. I'm like, there's no way Rebecca's hitting on me. Rebecca wouldn't hit on me. There's no way I'm her type. I always thought she was low-key super cute, but yeah. We ended up back at her place after some more drinking, and it was such an awkward morning for me because we were fooling around in her bed. We didn't fuck, but I went down on her, which is one of the few things I feel like I pride myself on. I feel like if I'm good at anything, it's one of the 3 things I'm maybe good at. But she's just kind of she's a little drunk, which also was, there were a lot of blue one day AA chips lying around, and that was uncomfortable, but I was like, no, Billy, I own prize. We woke up the next morning, and I was like, oh, hey, how'd you sleep? And she said, oh, I forgot you were here. And that's that was my sign. I was like, I think I'll go. Yeah, I probably should go. I should go. It's 9 a.m. I should go. This feels too early. I would like to sleep in, but I'm going to go to my bed and sleep in my bed where, I'm wanted. So, that happened. And, and I just felt like it was time to finally have her on the show. So, she's a funny stand-up comedian in her own right. Check out her stuff. Just a little technical note. I didn't find this out until I was editing, and this has happened a few times on the podcast, not often, but every once in a blue moon, I want to say once a year, we'll record, and some local AM studio airwaves will get caught. And so you're going to hear, especially in the beginning, and then maybe a little bit throughout the episode, the faint sounds of I think it was a Spanish music station. So if anything, just think of it as the unofficial soundtrack for this podcast episode. There's not really much I could do about it. Hope it doesn't distract you too much. But for now, let's go and talk sobriety with Rebecca Rush.
I just don't, because you're supposed to have a year sober to date someone. And then I had a sugar daddy too. So it was a great excuse to not try at all. I just became unwilling to have the same kind of toxic relationships that I always had. And I just needed to do super amount of work on myself. But now I'm if I can't stay sober, I don't think I'll ever be capable of having a real relationship. I need to do that first.
Is that something you want?
To stay sober?
Let's start with, we'll work backwards, relationship, but
maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of getting older, and I'm that might be nice. I've always been not always, but for I got married right out of college, and then I got divorced, and I had another boyfriend, and then I had another boyfriend, and I haven't really had a boyfriend since I've lived in New York.
Which is when you kind of started trying to get sober, right? When you got to New York?
Yeah, more so, because I was oh wow, I really can't make this work here. I never drank for months on end in New York. I would have relapses, but they would end pretty quickly. Maybe a month or two at the longest. I think my first year I drank for in the summer for a couple months.
Okay. So a relationship is like not sure. Then like being sober, is that something you actually want, or do you just want the results of what sobriety brings?
No, I really definitely don't want to drink anymore.
Weed,
I have
because it's a very interesting.
I pick up and put down weed so much, but the thing is with weed in me is that I'm not capable of smoking a little bit. Like I can, and I smoke such an insane amount, and I just can't afford to like not have a sugar daddy and smoke the amount of weed I smoke. Like I smoke like $300-400 a week of weed.
Jesus,
I smoked 2 eighths and a pack of roll-ups, which is like a third eighth in 5 days, and I had a tube of gummies. 5 days, and I wasn't even trying. I thought I was like, wow, this will last me until past Thanksgiving. I had a break recently, and my new quit date is Saturday after Thanksgiving. I'm gonna get super stoned with my high school friend Brooke on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna have another threesome with this couple on that Saturday, and the girl in the couple doesn't drink. So I had my first threesome sober, and she was like, I don't drink anymore either. And then it was like we were just sitting on the bed, and the guy was like sitting there. We're all just sitting there. We're like staring at each other because we were so stoned, but we had never had a threesome. Like she hadn't had a threesome with a new person, but that's the same,
Okay.
you know? And I'm like, oh my God, I've never had a threesome without having any alcohol.
yeah, but you're still like under an influence.
It's not the same, but we got through it and we had a really good time, and it was way better than being drunk, you know?
Sure.
But anyways, I still am going to smoke weed when I see them again, because I probably won't see them again all winter. And by the time I see them again, I'll have like, if I see them again, I'll have like a good 3 months of no weed smoking under my belt. So it'll be easier to be like, no, you guys smoke. It's cool.
I find anytime I try to set a start date, anytime I set a start date where it's dieting or not gambling or whatever, if I set a start date that is not today / like in 12 hours when it's the morning, never works for me. Like the only time, anytime I've had like long stints stick is when I started the moment I wanted to start. Otherwise, I always like, I end up doing a big binge, and then I start and I get about a week, and then I'll go like, oh, I missed that big binge and I'm fucked.
Well, I'm like, kind of do like a no going back thing. Like I put down booze, and then I like go to the Kava bar, and then I like put that down because I can't afford that either. If I want to be like, live a more reasonable lifestyle, that shit's expensive.
Sure.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm not going to take any, like, won't take Valium for my sugar daddy. And then it's like, now I'm left with just weed. And then I let go of this one, and it's like, ooh, scary time.
Sure. I get that. So do you find that the sobriety...
Let go of weed and then try not to like pick up bulimia or some other compulsive behavior. I mean, when
Or at
I
least-
let go of weed, then I might start dating again.
But honestly, like, I find, oh man, I just want to pick up a compulsive behavior that's productive. Because like
Well,
then I
that's
can
what
be
I
like...
do get like that when I quit smoking weed. Like I start to like, comedy becomes the only high I get.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'm like writing so much more, and I'm creating so much more art, because that becomes like art and yoga and all that, like writing, that becomes how I get my brain to produce good feelings rather than controlling it with weed and drinks and drugs.
Sure. Well, I don't know. Do you find the sugar daddy giving you a Valium, like, is that a thing that like is too tempting, or a thing like you can really withhold from?
Oh yeah, no, I shouldn't do that. It's never, I know better. You know, it's like I know better, and I'm just like, oh, this will be different. It's not. Like I know better. You know, I always know better. I just like decide like I don't care about myself in that moment, you know?
So was your last serious relationship the man you were divorced from?
No, I dated this fucking science librarian from Yale. He was so secretly gay. He had socks that said "I heart haters." I mean, you might have those socks. I don't know, but he was totally. You could tell in his eyes he was gay, which I know is a
Your
horrible
eyes
thing to
drifted
say.
down. I was like, is she trying to look at my socks to see if I have?
He cheated on me. He moved in with me. He quit his job at Yale. He used to teach social media to libraries, like called himself Library Future. He was so high on himself, and he was like the young hot librarian, and he would go and fuck all these chicks at these library conferences where he would like teach libraries how to use
Well, it's a very
Facebook.
good gender ratio when you're the young male librarian
Totally, right?
at a library.
And he was attractive, right? And he was smart, and like he so I had a job in social media at the time, and we met like on Facebook, and my mom was like, oh, why doesn't he move in? Because we were saving to move to LA. And he moved in, and my mom like started triangulating, and he didn't want to play, and so she started hating him.
Started what?
She would try to talk shit about me to him.
Ooh.
That's how my mom does everything. Yeah, that's how she rolls.
She's like, we need a new roommate because I need someone else to talk about Rebecca too.
Well, no, but she wanted to talk shit about him to me too. That's how she does it.
Wow.
So everybody only trusts her.
I don't know. Does he have to live
My
there for it to
stepfather had
work?
left. No, my stepfather had left, so she couldn't play with him anymore. So she was like, and then she got like wasted one morning, fell down the stairs the day before Thanksgiving, and he called the cops. But I'm in an alcoholic family. We don't call the cops when people are drunk. Like, and he called the cops, and then she told the cops it was his fault, and the cops thought he pushed her down the stairs, but she just meant like she blamed him for the fact that she was drunk in the morning because she was angry at him. And it was the day before Thanksgiving. And I worked at an online retailer. We're gearing up for Black fucking Friday and Cyber Monday. We're going to do 70% of our business in the next month, like 70% of our yearly. And he's blowing up my phone. My mom's blowing up my phone. I work 2 miles away. My whole family's down at the beach. My aunt owns the house next to my mom. My other aunt owns the house across from my mom's. Like, my whole family's there for Thanksgiving the next day, and I come home and my mom's in a fucking stretcher and my boyfriend's crying in a corner and my mom goes, I only had one. I'm like, didn't, Mom? No, you didn't. She has no shoes on and my family's all staring at her. My cousin Bobby's like, yeah, so this is what happened. He called the cops, like, because your mom fell down the stairs drunk, and then she told him it was his fault, and she wants him to move out. He was moving out that day, and that's like what the whole why she decided to
I
get
just
drunk.
wonder why this relationship didn't work.
So hold on. So I had broken up with him, and there had been this girl he said was stalking him the year before, this girl I'm friends with now, but it was his other girlfriend in Florida who was also a librarian, and she knew about me, but she thought that we were in an open relationship because they were in an open relationship.
Wow.
And that happened a year previous. And then my mom.
And you thought you were monogamous.
So this whole, yes. He wanted to be. He said it. Like, he said he wanted to be exclusive, but he would never be in a Facebook relationship.
Sure.
So this happens, and he was going to Syracuse where his family lives for Thanksgiving. I wasn't going to go. And then I have to leave work to pick up my mom at the hospital. And they're like, we've talked to her about AA. And she's like, I only had one. And she's got her fucking socks on.
It's like, we heard you, Mom. Like,
and all she cared about was going to the fish market because she had ordered special jumbo shrimp for her fucking cat. And it was closed. And that's when she got upset. And she was yelling at me that the fish market was closed. I'm like, I'm sorry that they didn't let you out of the hospital earlier. And that's my fault now. She was so angry, and then I was in her house, and I had never paid my own rent in my life, so I didn't think I could. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be stuck. This is what my life is going to be. I'm going to be here with her and her shrimp and her lies. You know, shrimp and warm Chardonnay and lies. And so I called him, and I was like, let's make it work. Let's get a house together. And we move in, and within a month, like, we have this New Year's Eve party because I'm working all the time, so I didn't even think of making plans. And everybody I'm working with has been working all the time, too, so they don't have plans. So all my coworkers come over to our new house in Old Saybrook. He gets wasted, starts accusing me of doing cocaine. I'm not. Starts accusing me of all this shit in front of everybody, and then he starts, like, grabbing me by the hair because he couldn't get into his phone. And one of my friends, like, was a big dude, like, physically took him off me and picked him up and put him in the bedroom. And this happened, like, he came out and he was like, you never listen, which is accurate. That's accurate. And I hadn't listened for the past 18 months. Like, I looked at old phone conversations and he'd be like, I'd like a blowjob later. And I'd be like, and I bought this on Amazon today. And he'd be like, so that blowjob. And I'd be like, I also got toothpaste. Like, I never listened then at all. So he starts, we're outside, it's snowing, and he goes, I haven't fucked a Colombian in 12 months. And I do the math, and I was like, you mean like 16? And he's like, no.
what?
In front of all my coworkers,
He's like, huh?
he admits through math that he cheated on me.
He's like, no, babe, I cheated for sure.
And that's when he started freaking out. He wanted to get into his phone to call his sister, his Irish twin, but he couldn't get into his phone because he was too drunk to, like, get in, right? So he started grabbing my hair, and then he called the cops. This is how my last real relationship, well, my second to last real relationship ended. He called the cops. My coworker comes in. She's like, Rebecca, Joe is, and it was snowing because I wouldn't give him his keys because it was snowing and he was drunk. So he posted on Facebook that his crazy ex-girlfriend was holding him a host stage. He like crawled. He's like, Joe was crawling down the street with his iPad tucked between his chin and his chest because he was too drunk to walk, and it was like a snowstorm.
Do you have no
So
hands? What the fuck?
He was crawling.
Why is he crawling? He can
because
stand.
it was a really bad snowstorm and he was really wasted. And the cops like had to go find him like in a snowbank where he was like posting on Facebook, and his sister called the cops, and then he got arrested, and then I burnt my face off.
There's so many
peel.
details in the story.
That was that relationship. That was how it ended. And then
maybe the single thing is like a good idea.
my next
I don't
boyfriend,
know.
Tanner, he was younger than me. He had a girl pregnant, and I had a DUI, so it was like we needed each other. Because he drove me to gigs, and he stayed with me because he was like living with his mom to save money. And I had this beach house, and 3 months into it, his baby was born. I could not handle it. I fell down the stairs because I got so drunk while he was in the hospital. Went to the hospital because I hurt my shoulder, found out I was pregnant, and then he was... I know. The first thing I said to him when he found out he was a father was like, I'm sorry I didn't fall down the stairs harder. Like, I didn't know what else to say. And then I had to have an abortion.
That's the best thing to say. What are you talking about? That was great. That's a great line.
And then I got fired from this restaurant where he was like best friends with the owner's kids because he told me to steal wine and I did. And then I got caught. And it was like, and then I ended up like getting fired. I'm getting fired. And I'm like, I had an abortion.
Well, let's slow down a second. You got told your
Those are my last 2 relationships.
like I said, maybe the single thing's more your speed. But
I tried to cut my wrist with a healing crystal when I was like wasted in the middle of that end of that relationship.
that's so incredibly ironic. But wait, when you get told you're pregnant, I know what you said, which is great, but what were you thinking when the doctor
I gotta tell you, every time I've been pregnant, I don't want to keep the baby, but goddamn, I want you to want to keep it. I want you to love me that
you
much.
want them to fight you on their
Oh,
birth, just
100,
a little,
just a little,
so you care,
just a little.
and then respects like your body, your choice, but like just a little, so you know. But what's the thought in your head like when the doctor tells you before you're like doing the convo with
Like,
the boyfriend?
oh fuck.
Is that just always what it is?
Yeah.
Because I've never had like a pregnancy scare or anything.
You haven't?
No.
I've been pregnant like a bunch of times, like a handful.
I am starting to pick up on every time you talk about it more, I up the number, I guess, in my head. First, I think it's 1, then 3. Then I don't know how many now, Rebecca.
Oh, because you've heard the different stories.
No, just the way in which you describe them, like it just starts to seem like a larger number. How many times have you been pregnant? She's like playing with finger. Can I say this number?
That plus 1.
6?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot. I haven't been pregnant, I will say, since before I moved to New York. Hey, haven't had a boyfriend.
Congratulations.
See, single life is like actually good for Planned Parenthoods of America.
I'm just out here trying to help keep you not pregnant. That's all I was trying to do
Here's the
that
thing.
night.
I don't want to be on birth control because it's wrong, and I want to be a more powerful witch than that.
Wait,
and I need
it's
to, like,
wrong to be on birth control?
It's not wrong. It's not good for your body. It's just not good.
Okay.
It's not good.
Like,
It's not natural.
what article did you read?
I just know this.
I'm
This
saying-
is like I remember.
Okay.
Like it's just not. It doesn't make sense. Like I don't have to read an article. It doesn't make fucking sense. I'm going to take hormones and that's going to be good for me. What?
Would you say the same about vasectomies? Or
I mean, I don't. It depends on what you're trying to do.
well, vasectomies.
I'm trying to be a more powerful witch. What are you trying to
But
be?
you're trying to also not get pregnant, right?
Yeah, you can just be smart about rhythm shit. I got pregnant on the pill because I had a false sense of security twice, 3 times actually.
I had somebody 2 nights ago tried to, like, we were about to fuck.
Now I like know when I'm ovulating and shit. When you're on the pill, you're just like, do, I'm on the pill.
So you're a big proponent of the rhythm method.
Yeah, I got an app in my phone.
You're not worried about STDs? Because, like,
I use condoms, first of all.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like in lieu of condoms.
I mean, I don't have serious enough relationships to not.
That has not stopped most of Alabama.
I had sex. I had unprotected sex with a guy last summer, and I regretted it because he was a dick. And then he came to me without asking, and he knew it was our last day together because we were like out of town together, and it was just really gross. And I was like, if I never let him have sex with me without a condom, then he never would have pulled that douchebag come inside me without asking move. So that's my part in things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't fucking pull the condom. Like, it's very rare. Like, that is not a thing I'm doing lightly. Like,
Do I take a condom off?
Oh no, to decide with another person. Like 2 nights ago, somebody tried to fuck me and said like, "Are you clean?" And that was her way of saying we don't have to use a condom. But this was like in the moment. I'm like, wait, what are you trying to communicate here? Because like, I've been tested, but I'm not. She's like, oh, we don't need one. I was like, no, I use condoms. Like, she just assumed that like if she gave the go ahead, I was gung ho, and she's like, I'm not thrilled, but okay.
It's also like a condom almost, when you're having sex casually, it becomes like an emotional barrier.
Not for me, but I totally understand how for some people.
Like,
that's
I just feel like I'm being more responsible because you are. That's why.
I mean,
So
I just
feel
like
that.
being responsible. It's not really an emotional decision. It's more like a professional one for me.
No, but like feeling responsible makes me feel like I'm treating myself better, which makes me feel more secure in this interaction now.
Sure. For
You know
me,
what I'm saying, especially as like a new person, you don't really know.
I feel that, but it's more intimate for me with me as opposed to like feeling intimate with the other. That's just me. Like I don't feel more intimate with them for pulling that. I just feel more like, oh, go me. I made a smart decision.
I mean, sex without condoms is better, or else we wouldn't have all this trouble. But
Say that again.
sex without condoms is better.
I mean, yes, it feels better,
but
just
like it's
it
not
has
worth
all this.
right. It's not worth it. Like
Yeah.
if you like somebody enough that if you're fucking somebody on the regular,
Yeah, I'm fluid bonded with someone now, but that was like a
fluid
whole.
bonded. Oh my
I
god,
know.
you kids and your fucking terms.
Yup, and our
Fluid bonded
and our I
Ew,
love haters
ew.
socks. Yup, weird.
Ew.
That's me. Hi, I'm gross. You put my head between your legs, so you're part of that.
Fluid bonded.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you want me to call it? Not using condoms? That just it sounds more irresponsible. Fluid bonded sounds like this purposeful choice or even identity.
All these weird words like co-sleeping.
Co-sleeping? That's dumb. I'll
That's
join
a dumb
you.
word, right?
It's not a word. I refuse to recognize it as a word. I will join you on that crusade. If you want to make signs, we can pick it. I'm down. If people are saying co-sleeping
When they
it's
sleep with their kids.
fucking when they sleep with their kids,
Yeah.
that's what that even means.
Yeah.
I thought that just meant sleepovers.
No,
Yeah, that's dumb. That's not a word
when
we
the
need.
kids sleep in the bed.
You can just say, yeah, our kids sleep in our bed. You can just say that. It's fine.
You could just say I don't use condoms.
Well, yeah, but when you say don't use condoms, yeah, but saying you don't use condoms sounds irresponsible. Like I don't not
Saying
use
I let my
condoms.
kids sleep in my bed sounds like you're gonna roll on them.
Well, like I don't use condoms with this person, but I use condoms outside the relationship, like strictly.
Yeah, that sounds like I could get down with that kind of fuck buddy regime.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't use condoms. I don't use
That would
condoms
make
with
me
this
feel-
person.
yeah,
I'm
that's
still
what yeah.
very slutty. So
Yeah.
I feel like saying it sounds irresponsible. But fluid bonded sounds like, ooh, what's that about? Tell me. Is there a magazine I can subscribe to?
Yeah,
Hey.
that sounds like a magazine. Fluid bonded monthly.
Fluid bonded monthly. Yeah, I don't know. But that is a decision that like I really think about because I don't know, especially if I'm like dating anyone else because then now someone else's sexual health is involved in this.
Yeah, totally.
So-
So I had one boyfriend when I had this boyfriend Tim. We were on off for like 5 years. He like choked me like year one, and he had choked both of his previous wives. And the story that he tells
Sexy
now
choking
is
or abusive
not
choking?
abusive
Okay.
choking, but it was always the woman's fault, and it was always I barely touched her, and that's his story.
Her neck fell into my hand. Like
Yeah,
what a
that's
doofus.
well. It was ex-wife who I'm good friends with now. I have this pattern of like being good friends with the women that like.
Yeah, I
the
wanted to
other
ask
woman.
about the other ex. Like when
She's fucking great. She's having a baby right now. She's a librarian in Maine. She moved up from Florida because she met another guy on Twitter who didn't have another girlfriend.
Sure.
Her name is Marcella. She's wonderful. She's a librarian outside of Portland, Maine, and she's having a baby with her husband.
Yay for her.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, what about me?
But are you also so you're friends with like a lot of exes?
Yeah.
That's
So my ex-boyfriend Tim, I just loved him so. I feel like he was the first person that ever saw me. I just loved him so much, and he was always breaking up with me, and I love that too. Just so
Wait,
unstable.
what?
My ex-husband was always like threatening to end the relationship. It
And
really
you're like,
keeps
"That's
me in
hot?"
line. I mean, I don't enjoy it. Like, I don't think I enjoy it, but I just find myself in those situations over and over. So it's like, obviously I do.
Uh-huh.
I feel comfortable getting broken up with like weekly.
Jesus. For me, I break up in threes. Like it takes 3 breakups for it to stick. That's at least my last 2
Okay.
relationships, or my only real adult relationships.
Did anybody ever get back together and stay together
What do you mean?
in life? Like anyone ever?
Sure, yeah. But that's the thing. Every relationship's going to end until someone like, dies or, you break up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've gone back together with people and then it also still doesn't work out.
I can't fuck with like
but I'm
dating
also
apps
still
either.
happy when we get back together because I still got more time, which I feel like is always what we're trying to get. We're trying to get more time.
Yeah. Yeah, so part of why I didn't move to the West Coast and move to New York was because I was dating this guy, Tim, on and off, and I just loved him so much. And then, like, I was bringing a show back to New London for a long time. And it was like mainly to fuck him when I was there.
Yeah.
And then he started dating this girl that was his friend that I made friends with after they were already friends. And then I acted like, I totally made it like, oh, he married my friend or he's with my friend. But it was his friend. And then I was threatened. So I made her my friend. And then it was all like, we were all friends. But like, they were friends first. And who the fuck am I to tell other people like who to anything? Anyways, they're married and they have a baby. And I realized like going to LA even for 3 months is like finally saying goodbye to the idea that like he choked me in our first year. And then for 4 years, I was just like after him still.
Saying goodbye to this potential thing.
Just
Are you
like,
saying you still kind of hold a flame for like a torch for the guy?
I have gotten through it like a lot in the last year, like through really being friends with his ex-wife, because I'm like, oh wow, like he did all the same shit with her, and like, you know, I really need to like heal and move on, and there's just no point in ever talking to him again, even like as a friend. I was going through some stuff where I felt like I really wanted to talk to him about it because I just always felt like he had the best, like he just could see things more clearly, you know, except when it came to like him and what he did, but who isn't like that? But I guess that for a long time I felt like, and I don't know, that I would just never feel like that again. The sex was like the best sex I've ever had in my life. And he was just, I felt so good around him. And I just felt like at home and like seen. And like, I don't know that I'll ever feel like that again.
But you still kind of want to get together with the guy even though he's abusive?
No, not with him, but I wouldn't mind. I've gotten over that. Like, but I did for a long time. But now I'm just like starting to become open to the idea that maybe I could feel like that again. And like, that night that he choked me, I was drinking for the first time in like weeks, and I was saying stupid shit, and I was being drunk, and it's like, that was my part in things. It wasn't okay what he did, but like my alcohol has a part in all these, you know, and like I can remove that. That's up to me, and then just like see where my life lays.
Do you think? So you think you're now in a better position to date?
No, I don't think I am. I think I need like to get 6 months at least sober before I think about it.
Sure.
That doesn't mean I will. I'll have like 2 months and I'll be like, I'm ready. I don't know. If I stay sober long enough, maybe I'll meet a cute boy in an AA meeting.
I mean, that's the meet cute.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Really.
Do you use condoms with the sugar daddy?
With AA guys?
With AA guys? I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a thing that ever got like pressured to not?
Nope.
Okay. Cool. Because I feel like sometimes
We have had once when I was on my period, I made him give me more money.
But that was like a one-time
Yeah, it was only
special
like once.
offer.
It was special.
Expiring soon.
Special occasion.
Expiring in the next 3 to 6 days. Yeah.
Oh my God, never 6. That's so long.
But does it feel ever like a relationship in a way?
It is. It's just a weird one.
No, definitely a weird one. But like, is it? But do you see it as that? Because like there is the reality. It is work, and like that's both parties know and acknowledge whether it's like they push it back more or not into like the subconscious. But you know, I don't know like how you view it or.
It's strange and weird, and it's really hard to define. You know, it's just been weird, but cool, and it's been a good year.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, you told me off the number, and I was like, "That's a great year. It's pretty damn good."
Not bad.
Yeah. Hope he wins another award.
I know, right? It's allowed me to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And to live here for 18 months, you know?
Yeah. Live in one of the most expensive zip codes in the country. So good job.
I have really good real estate karma. Like, I'm moving from here to West Hollywood, where I have my own bathroom and a washer dryer and a dishwasher and a really, really cool roommate.
Okay, we get it. You made some good
With
money.
a patio.
Okay?
No, it's not that expensive. It's not about money. It's about karma. Like, it's a really good price. And this is this is way cheaper than the rest of the neighborhood.
Sure. Okay.
Looking at, like, new apartments that aren't rent controlled, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I'd rather hope that the lady I sublet from leaves again and lets me move back in.
Have you had like a healthy relationship? No.
I haven't. No. I mean, I have been the villain where I wasn't the victim. When, like, my high school sweetheart was great. His name was Greg. I held a candle for him for a long time. I totally cheated on him. Like, a bunch of times.
Why?
I don't know.
Because I just talked to someone who had
That was like when I was 17 and 18.
Oh, so that's just being young and stupid. I feel like when you cheat when you're 18, like you're just...
I cheated on my husband too, but that's because I wanted to get out of the marriage and I didn't feel like I had any agency, so I was looking for someone to save me.
Well, your past marriage is a whole fucking whirlwind of a story. Jesus. That's a whole different podcast. But, I mean, do you want to give a truncated version of that?
I feel like people always want to hear about it.
That's why I'm like, you can give us the shorter version, just for context.
I married this old dude. We did a lot of cocaine together. It got really weird sexually. He lost all his money. We fought a lot. I left. The end.
Yeah, that's a good shortened version.
It was really, really short.
What is it that keeps drawing you to all
I
these
got
fucking
Nico,
toxic people?
Because I'm toxic, obviously. And and I think I deserve that. And I think this is, my mother is super insane. And I'm like still replicating those kind of situations. And I'm thinking this is what I deserve. And I could probably get into a pretty decent relationship right now with where I'm at, like emotionally, but I'm not willing to I used to put all of myself into like these crap hole relationships, and I'm just not willing to do that right now. I need to like really build a strong foundation for my life. Like
you were saying
me and my dog.
Well, you were saying when I got over here, you're not even really having that much sex at all.
No, I'm fucking this couple. And that feels good because it's like I can like go into their world where they have a relationship and like enjoy that because they live
siphon
together.
Off their good relationship energy.
Yeah, it's totally great.
Yeah.
Well, and they like I like spice things up for them. You know, I'm the spice.
You're the spice.
Yeah.
Which spice are you of the various garnishes?
Maybe like smoked cinnamon.
Smoked cinnamon. Yeah, I feel like you're definitely not one of the subtle spices.
Shut up. But it's nice. And then it's like you hear their like coupley life and you hear about their how they do that life thing with each other, the team shit. And you're like, that's nice. And then
The
they're
team
like,
shit, is that what you
and then
how you refer a loving, committed relationship?
yeah, and then
team
they're
shit.
like, let me get you an Uber home. And I'm like, don't you take away my walk from me. And then I leave.
Is that like the only sex you've been having besides
I've only had sex with them once, and that's the most recent sex I've had, and I'm still masturbating to it. So that's the sex I'm having.
Yeah.
Because it's the sex I'm still having in my head, you know? I'm a spank bank girl.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that's why it was so hard for me to let go of Tim, because I spanked to him all the time, and the sex was so fucking good.
The choker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the choker. Because I spanked to him so much, and I spanked to him for years and years and years, and I was just like, I'm never going to spank to anybody else again. These people are good to spank to. I like to spank to previous sexual encounters.
But when they're abusive partners, like how do you get past that?
That happened in the first year, and then I went to rehab, and we were like apart for a really long time, and nothing like that ever happened again.
Okay. Just always curious.
So I have like so much like Stockholm syndrome from dealing with my mother, so I was just like primed for it. He was like my mother.
Sure. But you're not really
So
like...
I'm just like fighting this abusive dynamic that I had with my mother over and over.
Oh, well then, I mean...
My husband was like my mother. Tim was like my mother. I don't know what the fuck Joe was like.
Do you have any ex-girlfriends we can compare to your mother?
I've never dated a girl.
Any particular reason?
I'm not that into them.
Okay.
It's exhausting to hook up with a woman. It's like fun once in a while, but it's like so much work and like, ugh.
I feel like that's how people describe dating me. So that was... It's a lot of work. Ugh, you know.
It's like sometimes
Sex is
things
fun
can
when we
smell
get there, but
bad,
that's about it.
You know, it's just like, ugh. It's a lot of work.
Okay.
Men are like easier or better.
I mean,
faster, longer.
we're definitely easier.
I'm not romantically attracted to women either. You know?
So then, but as someone who identifies as bisexual, what keeps you... Like
I
what,
hook up
what
with
is
women
it?
once in a while.
So you're just sexually attracted to women.
Yeah, but like not even, I used to like be more ashamed about it. So it was like more exciting. And then I almost wonder, am I just like really turned on by shame? Because once I like removed the shame from it, I felt like way less of a, like less attracted to women once I didn't feel it. Once I lived like 2 blocks from the Rainbow Crosswalk and I'm like, oh my God, like the only person that cares that you're bi is you, dude. And for a long time I had such black and white thinking where I'd be like, I like men, but if I like women, that means I can't like men. And it's so hard for my brain to like do that. It's called splitting. It's like a borderline personality trait.
Are you BBD?
No, but I have some traits, you know, like it's just a form of PTSD. And I was definitely, you know, had the T.
Definitely had the T.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the P, not definitely not the T. Some
A lot
S
of the
and
S.
D.
A lot of the S
You
and
know.
the T. You know.
Okay. That's why it's interesting, the concept of being like attracted to shame, because I think that ties into
So much of sex
self-sabotage.
stuff. Yeah.
With a lot of sex stuff, but a lot of addict stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Because we were talking about how like we deserve this. Like
Yeah.
when you do the relapse, you go like, this is a bad decision, but like this is what I deserve, so I'm going to do this to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the same can hold true in pursuing relationships that we shouldn't,
Yeah, totally.
or fucking people that we shouldn't,
Or like fucking people that reflect back to us a mirror that we're less than. You know?
Yeah, I'm still curious, like what you saw in the mirror of Billy's like fleshy, doughy abdomen, but you know.
I think I just felt disrespected when you came to the mic, and I often disrespected myself then. So
Sure, but that was
there you go.
after. What?
I was
before?
fine until that happened.
Sure. Okay.
I was just kind of like, I was like a little upset that I relapsed so publicly. I was a little embarrassed that we were so PDA, because like nobody PDAs in New York.
Oh, I PDA hard. Big
Do you?
fan.
Well, I mean, obviously.
I'll put it this way. I
the
like
one
to
time
ma-
we hooked up, it was in public. So like, I'm like, do you PDA?
I want to make
my
out
only
a
experience
lot
with you.
because if we wait till we get somewhere private, what if you change your mind in between? So now I won't get them. So let's do that. Let's make sure it happens. Let's just do this now while you're still into this, until I say something dumb that makes you go like, actually, no.
And then you've like already started the make outing process.
And now I just have to go back. I mean, just yeah. No, I like PD. I like being watched. I like watching. I like being watched. I like being in a sexual space.
So you have fun at sex parties, like they're not overwhelming to you.
Socially overwhelming, sexually not. Like I can be there and be like, this is great, that's hot. But I mean, to talk to people, I mean, I don't care if we're naked or clothed. I'm very nervous, like talking to new people. It like, yeah, I mean, I operate at a sex party the same way I do at a normal house party, in that like, if I can flirt and connect with someone sexually, great. But if I have to like do polite conversation, like I'm not good at that. and it's hard because like you do have to do the conversation talk stuff commonly at sex parties. I think I've only one time had someone who just like blatantly, like we spoke for 30 seconds before my dick and other dicks were in her mouth. Otherwise, I usually have talked to someone a little bit more. Call me old-fashioned. Look, when I triple penetrate somebody, I just usually prefer it's someone I got to know.
Sure. I mean, did you get to know the guys?
Definitely not, no. Although at the old bukakis I used to go to, there would be like this icebreaker. Like before we got started, we would go around in a circle and like introduce ourselves.
Old bukakis?
As in bukakis I used to do with a group of people who used to do them.
Do bukakis?
Yeah.
So you would literally do a circle jerk party?
Or like a blow bang, like she'd jerk us off, you know, suck us off and then make us come on her. But yeah.
To only be one girl?
The ones I've been a part of, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's going to come on her?
If that's what she wants, yeah.
Whoa.
I come where I'm told. I'm just happy to be coming.
No,
My preference is like slightly low, which allows me to be very adaptable.
I was at the sex party and I had met up with this dude whose wife was dead, so they let him come to the sex party for free.
Ha!
True story.
Like, had she just recently died, or she had been dead?
Like, I think like a couple years ago. It's
At
a
that
party
point,
that you're
it's like-
only allowed to bring, but you're only
Right, you got to come as a couple.
you got to come as a
Which is
couple
funny,
or
'cause
a
I'm just
single
like,
woman. But they let him come. He'd been friends with him for a long time.
But that's why I asked like how recent, because if it was recent, it'd be like, oh man, we feel bad. He should, you know, they already bought the tickets. Versus like,
Ooh.
dude, it was 3 years ago. You can meet someone to bring. Come on, like at some point you gotta pull your weight.
he has a girlfriend now. They wanted to fuck me at the second party, and
You're very good at knowing where your exes are now. You seem to have like
we were never together.
by ex I mean like an ex lover. An
You know
ex
what? Joe
whatever.
Murphy, Library Future, he got sued for sexual harassment by a bunch of librarians.
Is
and
this
it
your
was
guy?
like the library guy. This was
That's his name?
Joe Murphy. It was pre-Me Too movement. You can look this up. And this video I had taken of him being drunk, talking about cheating on his last girlfriend when we were in New Orleans together at a library conference, went viral. I eventually took it down because people put so many mean comments at me about like having it up, but it's the most views I've ever gotten was like a minute of him being drunk and talking about cheating on his last girlfriend at a library conference because they used it in the trial. And then he went to Canada and like cross sued them for libel, and Canadian because one of them was Canadian. The librarian's talking the shit, and no, they weren't suing him. They were just talking shit, and he sued them, and then there was a whole shebang. I think then he moved to LA, so he's in LA now. He does not like me. I'm still blocked.
Rebecca, you are full of stories. That is one thing you're not short on. It is stories.
I have a lot of stories.
Yeah,
I'm working on a book of them.
a book of
All the stories. I wrote this story out, like the whole story with Joe, like that whole relationship. Like I wrote that whole story out in Sedona on a writing retreat last year, and I need to edit it now.
Sure.
That's a whole story.
How do you feel about sharing information? I mean, obviously, you've already shared plenty so far, like full names.
I mean, it's my story. If people wanted me to write more kindly about them, they should have behaved better.
Correct. But
It's not my quote. That's a bastardization of an Anne Lamott quote.
But I do agree with the sentiment that's like when someone says you can't, well, how dare you talk about your exes on like a show? And then it's like, but it was my story too.
Yeah, I only talk
I can't
about
erase 2 years of my life just because we're not together anymore.
Where your life intersects with mine becomes my story.
Yeah.
So, stay out of my life.
Also, a lot of the people who like criticize me for that also love listening to Taylor Swift, which I'm like, hello. That's all those are.
Well, those people are people that can't tell their stories. So they're like...
So they think that I can't either. And it's only because they know me. If they didn't know me, they'd be like, oh, that's what that person does.
Well, they're unable to do it, so they don't want you to be able to do it either. Yeah. They're like, fuck you, Billy, because they won't let themselves do it.
This happened one time, probably like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. I did a Facebook stream during the first of a few breakups with my long-term ex-girlfriend. She dropped off a bag of my stuff, right? And she dropped off like 20 minutes before I was going to record a podcast with a comic. So I texted the comics like, hey, do you want to like unbag this bag of sad with me? Right? I don't know what's in it. I just know it's my stuff. I see a book. Do you want? And it's like, yeah, sure. So I post on Facebook, hey, everyone, like I'm going to Facebook Live. My ex just dropped off a bag of my stuff. We're going to unbag it on Facebook Live. Come check out the Mayor Podcast, fan page or whatever. Then I close the laptop, and then he gets there. We record. I open Facebook Live, do that, close it, go back to recording. I'm not looking at my notifications because I'm in a mid-session, right? When he leaves, there was such vitriol under that post that I was going to unbag my own belongings on Facebook Live. And I think it's because, and by the way, I looked at the numbers. Only 3 people watched the Facebook Live. One of them was my ex. One was a listener in Dallas, and then one was someone else. So it's, all these people being mad didn't actually watch or hear what I said, right? So they just know the concept of what I was going to do. And I think a lot of people, if they had a platform, in theory, would shit on their exes. So I think they assumed I was going to shit on mine. But if they had watched or listened to the episode, they would have heard that really what ended up happening just because of what was in that bag. And I didn't expect this, but it ended up being me talking about how I could have been a better boyfriend through these items. Because those just kind of what ended up coming out in our conversation. I did not shit on my ex at all in that thing. It was more introspective, but people were like, just some of the worst comments, people saying the meanest things to me, saying, how fucking dare you? You're a piece of shit. And I'm like, did you watch it? No. I was like, I think you're projecting what you would have done. And you would have, because you're a shitty person, you would have done that. But I didn't, because I'm not a dirtbag.
Well, they just want you to be.
Yeah.
People just want to tear people down. But I think that having online hate is just part of having a platform.
That's what I'm learning.
It's the bigger your name is, the more... And it's you got to look at the other stuff too,
If
but
you're only...
there's a negativity bias where positive stuff kind of slides off us and negative stuff sticks. And that's just the way that our prehistoric brains are because danger is saber-tooth tiger right behind you. That needs to be more than ooh, the sky is blue.
Yeah.
But
but we should lean into the compliments and the good
you think
emails
about
and the
them more
positive YouTube comments.
Sit with them more because we sit with our negativity so much, and the positive things just kind of fly by, and we don't really take these moments to really savor them.
Yeah.
And then when you do that, you kind of inhabit that energy and attract more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier said than done for sure.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Everything is a practice of constantly reminding yourself because we forget everything. It's our nature to forget. It's just human.
Yeah.
We forget and then we remind ourselves again.
And if you have haters, it means you're doing something right. Now, if you only have haters and there's no one saying positive things, then maybe you gotta go reevaluate. But like, I think that that's just a thing we have to accept. Like, as we're gonna hopefully be blowing up.
Maybe I'm late to the game on this, but did you know that I watched these docu-series on the 80s and 90s this week? Okay. Did you know, and the 70s, they're on Netflix. They're great. Did you know that Make America Great Again was like
Reagan.
5? It was not only
does George, does the first
Bill
Bush.
Clinton and the first Bush and Reagan all say it in speeches.
Yeah.
And then Trump made it into his whole thing.
And
it's
then
been
he
said
denied
so many times.
And then he
by
denied
so many
that's
presidents.
not original. Yeah,
those are only the ones that we have televised, which is very few. We have very few televised speeches. So think of how many times, how many presidents said "Make America Great Again."
Grover
like in the
Cleveland,
40s,
back in 1881.
after the first world. God damn it!
You can say it.
The First World War.
There you go.
Before they prosecuted my people.
You did that whole thing of like, I don't know, smoke less weed as she smokes weed this whole episode.
I didn't. I very earlier before. Not during. This is not weed.
Oh, what is that?
This is a jewel.
What's the jewel?
It's nicotine.
Oh.
So I'm putting something in my mouth,
okay.
but harm reduction, baby.
Well, Rebecca, is there anything else like you feel like people should know or that you want to share?
Yeah, I have a new podcast where I read a different book every week that my guest chooses. It's called Comics Book Club. You can find it on iTunes and Twitter at Comics Book Club.
And where could they find you?
You can find me at Rebecca Rush 639 on Instagram.
Why 639?
It's my lucky number.
Why is it your lucky number?
It's a really good number. It means you're going in the right direction.
Wait, why?
My ex-husband's step-grandmother was a witch, and that's where I got the number from.
Are you getting into the witching stuff?
I've always been into it. I'm
Have
just
you?
kind of owning it more.
Okay. Well, Rebecca, thank you. The eyebrow raise.
I cast some spells when I was 13 and they worked too well, so I put it down for a while, but I picked it up in college and it's like, we really want to bring this up as you're closing a podcast.
Is there a sex or dating bend to your witchcraft?
No.
Okay, then I'm just going to try and not upset you too much so I don't get any spells cast on me. But,
no, I don't do that.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much for chatting with me and
yes,
good luck in LA and keep the positive vibes going. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Good night.
So what'd you think? Did you like that one? Was it good? Did it hit you in the right place, in the naughty spot? I hope you enjoyed this week's episode with Rebecca Rush. Check her out on the interwebs, okay? Of course, you can find me on Twitter at @TheBillyProcida. You can go like the Man Whore Podcast Facebook page. And you can't follow me on Instagram because they're dumb and they censor anything talking about sex, apparently. So I am currently not there. TBD. We'll see what happens. And if you want to say something a little longer, if you want to send me some comments, some questions, hit me up at manwhorepod@gmail.com. Again, if you're listening to this the day it comes out, there are just 8 days left. You got 1 week. Billy, there's 7 days in a week. I know, but there's 8 full days left as of me putting this out. I counted on the calendar. I'm not crazy. Okay? There are 8 days left to take advantage of this special offer and get an original piece of art, limited time only, Man Whore Podcast sticker. That's going to be available to all of my $2 and up members who are members as of December 19th. And hey, if you're a $1 member, just go edit, add an extra $1 on there, and you'll go ahead and get that sticker. Are we sticker people? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not a sticker person, but I heard people fucking love stickers. And I love giving you guys and girls and people what you love. Ipso facto, I love stickers too. So again, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Next week, I have got on not just anyone. He's not just a porn historian. He's not just a listener, but hey, he's also a member of the Patreon community. I'm talking about Brian Watson. Can't wait to share him with you next week. And until then, stay slutty.
Bye.